Render to Caesar what is due to Caesar, and render to God what is due to God. The Pharisees were really trying to catch Jesus in so many different traps throughout his life as he continued to preach and to heal and to reach out to the communities in Palestine during that first century, 2,000 years ago. And they kept trying to catch him. They kept trying to trap him up, to trick him, to find a way to get him to not say what he wanted to say or to say something he didn't mean. And in many cases, we find ourselves in similar situations today. Now, I really appreciate the politics of religion. I don't like partisanship in religion. I like the politics of religion because religion means the idea of sharing faith. We share faith in a place and in spaces where we recognize that there are power structures in place. There are hierarchies. There are people with power and there are people without power. There are people who use their power to facilitate the work of other people, and there are people who use their power to keep other people down or to hold them in positions that are subservient to themselves. And this notion of power is something that Jesus upends. As we said a couple of weeks ago, when we talked about this notion of the Messiah, many people at that time wanted a Messiah who was going to stand up to the power structures that existed, to stand up to Rome, to stand up to the temple policies that kept people separate from their religion and literally separated from their God. And Jesus didn't approve of any of that. In fact, Jesus said, "This is the world and this is heaven." Now, I don't necessarily believe that we should keep these things separate. I believe that we live in both ands, not either ors. But I do listen to Christ when he says, the tax that you pay is the tax that you pay, but that has nothing to do with what you do with the gifts that God has given you. It has nothing to do with how you show your love to God. And God does not ask that you look for God in books or in persons or in names on yard signs, or in constitutions, or maybe even looking beyond the scriptures themselves to see what God is. Jesus kept insisting that God is love, that God is interrelationship, God is caring, God is reaching out, God is servant. So when we talk about the power of God, we talk about the power of serving. We talk about the power of the empowerment of those who have no power. We are asked at this moment in time to stop putting our faith in flags, in nations, in constitutions, and people running for office. That's Caesar. We don't serve Caesar. We serve God. Amen.